ND Nation podcast, a new era of Irish football with your host, me, Evan J. Thomas, and my new co-host, Dennis Stover, as we will bring you special guests throughout the season. We will go deep with your Irish football coverage in a way that you haven't seen or heard before. Dennis and Evan are just two best friends, lifelong Irish fans, bringing you the best Notre Dame football coverage, analysis, and our opinions on a weekly basis. You can watch or listen to the We Are ND Nation podcast on YouTube every Friday during the season on wearendnation.com. Follow us on the socials. We are ND Nation. Go Irish. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the We Are ND Nation podcast. I am Evan J. Thomas, and with me is my brand new co-host on the podcast, Dennis Stover.
Hello, everyone.
Up.
What's going on, man?
Let's just throw this out there. Me and this motherfucker have gone back over 30 years since we were 16 years old. I mean, Dennis got me into Notre Dame football. He's the man that did. He's probably the most knowledgeable Notre Dame person I've ever met. And this dude just throws out stats upon stats and just knows everything usually. I don't know what you're up to now with how into it you are, but I know you've always been the man to go to.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely still crazy as I've always been. Obviously, with the last couple of years of the pandemic has taken away and made things a little different. So it was still good that we had a season, I guess, for what little bit it was in 2020 and last year, whatever 21 was. But no, I'm looking forward to this year. New coach. I mean,
the new era, as we call it, the We Are ND Nation podcast, the new era. BK is gone, thank God, after the bullshit that he put that team through the last month or so of the season, and just all that drama that he brought on at the end. It wasn't necessary at all.
Yeah, I wonder if it was a distraction towards the end of the year with him saying 1 week it's odd, intend to stay here. And then all of a sudden the next week he's like, well, see, I'm going south with this fake Southern accent. He's from Massachusetts.
All that bullshit.
Anyway.
We're going to try not to talk too much about, and I don't even want to say his name. I'll just say BK. I don't really even want to talk about him because that era is done. That's kind of like now the Leahy era. That's like the Parsegian era. That is the BK era. It's done. It's over with. We are now into the Marcus Freeman era. A whole new season coming up on us. What year are we in? Are we like, 128? I don't even fucking know anymore.
What's that?
Like, what season is this in the ND football?
For us?
Yeah. Got to be like
a long time.
That'll be 128, like, overall.
A long time. I still remember Villa Park jumping up and down and Pat Dillingham to was it Arnaz?
Had to have been battle down the sideline.
Yeah, it was Arnaz, Michigan State.
Yeah, so you and I are going to
we were jumping up and down.
Some of our favorite games that we've seen. But dude, Dennis Stover, I haven't physically seen you in person since 2018. I don't think we've ever seen each other.
For the Syracuse game when you were here.
Yeah, the Syracuse game, 2018. So that was the Syracuse Notre Dame. That was the undefeated season where they lost to Clemson in the playoff. That was the last time I saw you. And just tell people a little bit about yourself, dude. I mean,
from west suburbs of Chicago. Been in New York for the last 6 years, coming up on 7 years.
Wow.
Start a new job tomorrow, so that's very exciting. I'm happy about that. I'm a chef, and I love Notre Dame, and I'm excited to talk about it with my man here and stuff. I just hope expectations will be high, but I'm going to try to tamper them down a little bit this season because as much as I love Marcus Freeman, it's still a first year's coach. He's going to have some first year coaching mistakes, etc.
Yeah, and we've gone through a bunch of those in the past 30 years together. Yeah. We've had some ups, some downs, some what the fucks, and then that's kind of how things have been with Notre Dame over the past 30 years. Obviously, knowing you since high school, like I said, you kind of brought me into the whole game. I mean, you brought me to my first games. So just the fact that I got to attend those with you, Yeah, we haven't been to a game together since what, 2013?
13. It was the SC
Holy shit.
ND game when they barely. Andrew Hendricks was the fucking quarterback.
Big head.
I think he completed like 3 passes or so. I have to look at the stats again, but it was pretty ridiculous, man.
That is crazy. So you growing up, I mean, obviously you've been a huge Notre Dame fan. What are some of the most favorite games and players that you've seen or experienced either in person or just overall?
Well, first that comes to mind that really got obviously the early years of Holtz. But then it was the 87-88 team that really started God damn, I can't remember his name now. Tim Brown. Jeez, shame on me. Tim Brown really got me. And then it was the transition, Tony Rice. And then that's when I was like, I think it started freshman year, and then I started playing football. So then I was just like, because I never played Pop Warner or anything, I didn't play until like high school, and I rode the bench anyway. But that's what really got. And then sophomore year when we met each other, and then I was at Glenbard West. And then that was the Goshen Ghost from Goshen, Indiana, Rick Meyer, and that was like he was everything for me. When I love that guy.
Like one of the first things I remember you wearing was number 3 jersey.
Yeah.
So you always had that number 3, whether it was for Montana or Rick Meyer or whoever you wanted it for.
Yeah. All the greats. Yeah, and then college came, and so the rest is history. I think probably my favorite moment, which I'm sure you've heard this story 1,000 times, but I'll tell everyone else out there, is
your birthday game.
The birthday, 1993, November 13th. Everyone knows number 1 versus 2, and it's even more special because I graduated basic training the Friday, the 12th, before the game. And everyone else is out celebrating because, you got your first taste of life outside of basic training. And I stayed in the hotel by myself and watched that game. And I remember it like it was yesterday. I still watch it every year. I watch it around my birthday just because.
Well, I mean, if it's that time where, because to me, it's like I always watch Rudy usually the week before the football season. So that's going to be next week coming up. I'm going to be watching at some point.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, there's got to be those games that just sit with you. For me, I was at the Pittsburgh game in 2012, also the Stanford game.
Oh, wow, yeah.
I was at both of those that year. Both of those stand in my mind as like the greatest games that I've ever been to.
Yeah.
I just remember both of those games, the emotions back and forth, being there. Especially the Pittsburgh game, I was crying at one point. I was like happy. I was crying again. Happy. I'm like, what the fuck? And then same thing with Stanford too. I mean, 2012 was amazing. And then just being able to cover them the past like 6 years, being on the field at games, being at Michigan a couple years ago, Yankee Stadium, Dallas. I mean, it's been unreal.
Yeah. Are you going to Vegas this year?
Probably not.
Yeah.
As much as I'd want to, that's probably not going to happen.
Those uniforms are pretty sick, I must say. I like them.
They are, and I really like the white and the gold, and they're already sold out. They were sold out, I think, off the website within a couple, like 2 days.
Oh, wow.
Because I've been trying to find one, and now they're currently not available unless you're a small or a medium, which you might be a medium. But yeah, check those out.
I like them pretty slick.
I think they only come in number 22 for the year as well. So you have to
just one number? Yeah, 22. Okay.
So unless you like number 22, that's what you're going to get. So what about players? I mean, obviously you said Tim Brown. That's one of your favorites growing up.
Well, definitely Rick Meyer, Rocket. That goes to one of my least favorite, the Phantom clipping call against Colorado in the 1990 Orange Bowl. That was devastating. I'm still sore over that. That was a million years ago. And then I would have to say I love I really wish Jalen Smith had a better defensive coordinator and stuff, because his years at Notre Dame were almost, I don't want to say wasted, but he was just not utilized. And I go back to it. That guy should have been all world.
I mean, you saw his talent just as a freshman and sophomore.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for that injury, he would have been drafted top 5.
Yeah, and let's hope that Taylor Decker isn't playing, but let's hope he doesn't because we're playing Ohio State the first week. Hopefully, we don't get a cheap shot like we did in that game, taking out Smith for the rest of his. Hell, I don't even know if he's playing now anymore.
Jalen? I think Jalen, he was released by the Bears last year.
Yeah, the Bears picked him because it was Cowboys Bears. Anyway, so it's just a shame. I really wish Justin Tuck comes to mind. I love Justin Tuck.
And we got to meet him one year, too. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, and then, it always goes back to Joe, obviously, seeing Joe, that one, I think it was Weiss's first year, the spring game when it was like a million people there or whatever, Weiss's first year, and it was snowing that year, I think, when we went.
That was the really cold, snowy day.
Yeah.
What was that, 04? Is that 04?
I love God damn it, I can't think.
Let me throw
Reggie Brooks, too.
Reggie Brooks. I'll throw a few at you. I got Michael Floyd for me, Golden Tate, Manti Te'o. I mean, when he was there.
He should have won the Heisman, but anyway.
He should have won. Like you said, Jalen Smith over the past 5-6 years, for sure. But, I mean, I go back to the days with you, basically, where it was, Meyer and Tony Rice. And again, I got to meet some of these guys too, so it's kind of cool on my end that I've been there now. I wish you would have been able to be at some of those too, but
I know I missed out. I've been here so long. Oh, going back, one more guy I forget. 93 team. I mean, I was because he wasn't supposed to start that year. It was supposed to be Pollard, but Kevin McDougal. That's the man, number 15, baby, running that option, man.
I think he played in the XFL, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He went to he played in their one championship game.
Okay, because he wasn't with Chicago, was he?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so there you go. So
yeah, they had the 1 year, and I think he was in the championship game, whatever the XFL Bowl, whatever the hell it was called.
I think that's what it was called, the XFL Bowl. So.
Yeah.
All right, so Dennis, we're going to take a quick little break. But before that, every year, before you, Malik and I would do, at least I would give this out to him. We did name that former ND player. So what I'm going to do before we go to break, I'm going to give you career stats of a player. And this player played, and it's not going to be like any year. It's going to be between 1988 and now.
Okay, and now.
So it's within our realm of I'm not going to go back to the 40s and be like, who the fuck is this guy?
You want to throw out some Paul Horning questions and Angela Bertelli questions?
Fuck, all right, I'm done. Anyway, all right. So here we go. So this player, running back, played from 95 to 1998. And here are his stats. Career attempts rushing, 854.
Audrey Denson?
Supposed to go after this.
Sorry, I got excited.
Oh, dear Lord. Yeah, you got it. So there you go. Fuck this. I'm done. That's our segment. And that was we can
edit.
I think I just have to throw the years and you'll know exactly who it is.
Well, I mean, no, there's going to be some stumpers in there, I'm sure.
I mean, I'm trying to go not too easy, but also not too hard either.
Audrey Denson, I mean,
that's
pretty tough.
Yeah, but you got him in 2 stats. 2 stats, man. Nobody's done that.
It's a good rusher. I remember that.
All right, well, let me go over the rest of his fucking stats anyway.
Okay, let's do this.
854 attempts, 4,318 yards total, 43 rushing touchdowns, average 5.1 rushes per carry. Now, from receiving as well, 53 total receiving yards and 3 catches and 3 touchdowns. So, yes, it was Audrey Denson. We're still going to take a fucking break real quick. We will come back. I obviously can't reveal it coming back here. So
everyone forgive my I'm not a social media person. So
yeah, you're supposed to tease this before going to break.
I'm just thinking it's a
answer when we come back. So that way everybody else kind of has to guess too. Right. We're not supposed to guess within 1 or 2 stats.
I got excited. I'll make sure next time.
All right, no problem. So we're going to take a quick break. Make sure you're following wearendnation.com. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Check out our YouTube channel as well. Dennis Stover, Evan J. Thomas, We Are ND Nation podcast, the new era, coming right back.
Here come the Irish of Notre Dame.
We Are ND Nation podcast, a new era of Irish football with your host, me, Evan J. Thomas, and my new co-host, Dennis Stover, as we will bring you special guests throughout the season. We will go deep with your Irish football coverage in a way that you haven't seen or heard before. Dennis and Evan are just two best friends, lifelong Irish fans, bringing you the best Notre Dame football coverage, analysis, and our opinions on a weekly basis. You can watch or listen to the We Are ND Nation podcast on YouTube every Friday during the season on wearendnation.com. Follow us on the socials. We are ND Nation. Go Irish. All right, welcome back to the We Are ND Nation podcast. Evan J. Thomas here with my new co-host, Dennis Stover. And we just got into who Dennis is, what he does, what his favorite games were, favorite players, and most of you know who I am. If you don't, follow me on the socials, Evan J. Thomas. You'll never find Dennis on any social media.
Yeah, I won't.
If you do, you're fucking lucky because I've never. I think once you were on Instagram for like 3 weeks.
No, it's through a job.
Yeah, for like 3 weeks, and then you like disappeared. So
yeah, I can't do it. I won't do it.
he just doesn't do it. So before break, we're trying to tease name that former ND player to Dennis. Unfortunately, not unfortunately for him. Fortunately, you got it in one stat. Actually, was one stat. I didn't even give you the yards before that.
Sorry, I won't fuck it up next week.
All right, no worries, man. So we're going to get into the Notre Dame offseason. This is what we're going to talk about this episode. Obviously, next week we're going to talk about the season coming up. This week is more of like the intro to the new era of We Are ND Nation podcast. We're just going to go over the crap that BK left us and what Freeman is doing going forward. We're also going to get into like TV and should Notre Dame join a conference, blah, 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 blah. But let's start with Marcus Freeman. Holy shit. All right. What are your thoughts so far on him with his offseason and his recruiting class? Because they're a top 5 recruiting class. I think they were just bumped from number 1 today.
Yeah, because I think if I read it correctly, Keeley decommitted last week. And then I think the other cat we had, I think it was Peyton Bowen. I could be wrong on this. I don't have anything in front of me. I could just pull it up on my phone. But if I think he might have decommitted too, which would have dropped us because we had the number 1 class in like a couple services. But now, regardless, we can still finish with a top, hopefully a top 3 class would be amazing.
Yeah.
But, I don't, before when someone would decommit, they would be lost. Luckily that happened 2 occasions where 2 cats came back. Stephon Tuitt came back and Aaron Lynch came back. They were both committed to Notre Dame at one point, decommitted, and then ended up coming back to Notre Dame. So hopefully Freeman being the badass that he is, I mean, he's obviously infectious, his attitude and everything, because he's got these young kids just losing their mind for him.
Right? I mean, it's really nice to have that, too, because Brian Kelly, to me, was that corporate coach.
Yeah, CEO, right.
The CEO, corporate coach. Freeman is bringing that youthful exuberance to the team, and you could just see it just with the way the guys are playing, too. I mean, their practices apparently are, like, bomb-ass amazing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, what little bit of clips they've shown, they're like, oh, you're going to have more access. The media is going to have more access to the first 15 minutes, but it's just like this short window.
Sure.
But whereas before BK would let him, he'd do 2 practices and that was it.
Yeah, that was it. I mean, I think I went out to 1 and that was the only one out we were allowed to all year.
Right. So with that being said, I think if he might be able to bring them cats back in. You never know. I mean, it's good to know too because what strikes me about it, even if we do lose Keeley, what's great is they targeted him. Remember, he's been committed to Notre Dame or was committed to Notre Dame for over a year. And Freeman tabbed this cat before he even started the season last year. So my point is they find this diamond in the rough and now everybody else wants him. So there's hope for that, at least a little optimism where this guy knows talent.
So I'm wondering too if the NIL did anything to have other teams.
Probably.
Other
I mean, they
schools
just freezed up
persuade.
Saban. Like, he's making just today, like, 93 some odd $1 million. Like,
Yeah, for what, the next couple years?
yeah, he's just, and I mean, I guess rightfully so. He is Nick Saban. I mean, you can't take anything away from the guy.
Yeah, I mean the guy definitely puts together an amazing program like every year.
I wish he'd go back to the pros, but
Dude, he's got a cush job, man. Why the hell would he go back there?
should have never left. I mean, yeah. Anyway,
Who knows where he would have
Freeman.
been if he would have stayed?
Yeah. Well, LSU would have been what Alabama is.
Exactly. And Michigan State probably not because he wasn't Nick Saban then, even though he was close to it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
he beat Bob Davies' ass a couple times, though. I remember watching Plaxico Burress just run roughshod over him.
Well, that era, that's what happened. So
Yeah.
okay, that's what we got to see. So yeah, I mean, this whole Marcus Freeman, and not only that, but Marcus Freeman is more of a hands-on recruiter, unlike Brian Kelly was too, because with all the stuff that came out over the offseason after BK left, that he didn't like to go like more than a 2-hour flight.
Yeah,
He
he would
wouldn't like go certain places to meet people.
Right.
I mean,
And
that's
it made a difference when they anytime a recruit would meet him. It's like a lot of times they said it would make a difference by him being there, but I think his hands-off approach, we lost out on a lot of guys we probably could have got. You know, I mean, everybody wants to say academics. I'm sure there's a lot more smart kids out there that you'd like to think they're.
That's why a lot of players back in like the Ohio State days are named AJ and whatnot because they couldn't spell their names, right?
Well, now we can't. We got Laurinaitis. I would always make fun of him, but he's a coach now, so we can't. Go James.
That is true. You do have James Laurinaitis. So yeah, this whole thing with Freeman recruiting, he has a bomb ass team so far for coming in. I mean, talent all across the board. And now, speaking of talent, we got a little QB controversy once again, but we still have, I think it's Buckner is supposed to be the starter.
Buckner was named starter.
So he was named starter. Then you got Dupine as
hey, as far as I'm concerned, I think Steve Angeli should be and if I'm saying his last name correct, the freshman.
Angelelli, yeah.
He should be number 2. These little runt quarterbacks, I can't take it anymore. Like I want, that's the only thing that's kept us out. BK could have got a quality quarterback. We were a Trevor Lawrence away from being in a national championship game at least. I'm not going to say winning it, but I'm saying we were a quarterback. We used to get those quarterbacks back in the day, and we haven't got one. And the fact that Freeman had his pick of the litter with Dante Moore this year, and we ended up getting Carr, who's, Lloyd Carr's grandson or whatever.
We stole him from Notre Dame, or not from Michigan. So that
Michigan. But again, we got a 5-star quarterback. Who's the last guy? It was Gunnar Kiel. And for some reason, I don't know why he couldn't tap this. But then again, Gunnar Kiel transferred to Alabama. He didn't do shit.
Yeah, so, didn't he also go to Cincinnati too? Yeah,
and he struggled there too.
Oh, he just jumped all around.
The best quarterback BK had, honestly, is fucking Deshaun
Kaiser, and then who's the one that just graduated 2 years ago? Why can't I fucking remember?
Oh,
Book.
Yeah, you know what though? Book.
He had talent.
Book. He's just imagine if Book was like a little bit bigger.
That's the thing. He was the taller Drew Brees. Without the accuracy.
Well, he's the size of Drew Brees, but Drew Brees had some swagger and stuff, and he had moxie too, but like he went up against those big dogs in Clemson and stuff, and he got smothered, man. I mean, should have won the Georgia game back in, what was it, 2019? 19? Yeah. In the South Bend, like, oh, God, I still forget Alex Mars just letting that guy sack him on the final play. But anyway, Ian Book is great. I don't hate the guy at all, but he just didn't have that it factor, I don't think.
So
he won a lot of games, but,
He did. Obviously, he's the most winning quarterback in Notre Dame now. What do you see from Buckner?
You could also, I'll argue this, and then I'm sorry to keep cutting you off. But
you're good.
Ever since the stupid ACC thing, the home games, the ACC schedule is so fucking weak. Of course he won all those goddamn games.
Yeah, and the Kush games that they had in there too, the Temples and who else?
I mean,
Tulsa's.
that's been nothing. I hate it. And I wish we'd get out of that ACC deal because it sucks. We get one good ACC is a shit conference.
Well, let's get into that right now.
Yeah.
Then. So they were in the conference for the 1 year that they won, and then now you have USC and UCLA joining the Big Ten. There's rumors that Oregon, Washington, Cal, and Stanford are going to be next. Jeez. Where does Notre Dame go? Because I wasn't sure where you stood with this, but I think Notre Dame has to join a conference.
Oh, absolutely.
Not the ACC.
Not the ACC. Big Ten. I even heard rumblings too, and this was on Paul Feinbaum's show and stuff, but he said that the SEC could potentially go after wanting ND, depending on what
I have yet to hear any of that rumor, but if that were to even come across, holy shit.
I mean, either or. But the Big Ten is making moves though right now. They're actually what the Big Ten doing is looking like with their NILs and stuff. I was just reading about it this morning. They're setting it up to where they could end up being bigger than the SEC as far as being able to market. Not saying.
Oh, I believe it, especially now with the schools that they're bringing in. I mean
they're from coast to coast now.
Yeah, I mean the fact that you're bringing in UCLA and USC. As football, I mean, not just football, but all across the board.
Yeah, SEC is just from fucking Texas and still the South. They're still specific. You got the Big Ten is coast to coast.
Coast to coast.
I mean,
West Coast to East Coast, mostly.
It makes sense for the Big Ten. At this point, it's going to be, I really think in 5 years, whatever it's going to be, like you'll see 3 like mega conferences. There'll be like 50 teams. It won't be the NCAA anymore or something. It'll just be like a semi-pro football team.
So what is holding back Notre Dame from even joining a conference? Is it money? Is it the TV deal? Is it just because they're independent status, which I think is fucking bullshit going forward?
I think they need to get over that mystique and misnomer because they'll never win a national title playing a 12-game schedule. Yeah. These teams are winning 14 games now. I mean, they'd have to play the top 3 teams, or at least the top 2 or 3 of the top 5 teams every year, and take some to the woodshed for them to even go to a national title without being in a conference. They want to do the conference a little bit longer, which are wait, I think, because they're still waiting to see how it pans out. But they could get $75 million from NBC in this new deal, which is good. But you go to the Big Ten, the Big Ten's going to get $100 million. Each school is going to get $100 million.
School, not just one whole Big Ten. But yeah, the way you said it was like the Big Ten's getting $100 million. No, it's $100 million per school. Because that was what, $1.4 billion deal? Yeah. Holy fuck. I mean, shit right there is like.
I mean, that's $30 million more than what they
a year, not just over the whole thing per season. So Notre Dame, fucking get off your high horse and join a goddamn conference.
Of this,
sorry, I'm using God, but join a goddamn conference.
Yeah, join a fucking conference, man. And this is coming from me.
And that's what I'm shocked by, because I figured you were that, because you've always been that old school guy to me. You've always loved the traditions, and which I do too. But it's like sometimes traditions just have to go away.
Yeah, it's time to progress. It's time to just be forward thinking and not get left behind, because Notre Dame can very easily get left behind. They have a couple bad years.
Oh yeah,
and then they don't recruit, and then it's like, who are they?
Exactly.
I mean, it's going back to Freeman and recruiting real quick. We'll get those guys back. Remember, he hasn't coached a full season.
Nope.
Excuse me. So once
he's not a regular season game yet.
So he's doing this well in recruiting without having coached any game outside of the bowl game. So imagine if he goes and they win 10 games. This guy will have a fucking top 3 class every year. And that's what we needed. He's this young, infectious, enthusiasm. These kids love it. I fucking love it.
Yeah. He's a social media maven, man. Not that stuffy.
He's got that badass Ferrari too.
Does he really?
Oh, you didn't see it was like one of the biggest recruits. I forgot who it was, but it was like a couple months ago, and it was a video of him and the recruit getting in the Ferrari and driving off.
Oh my God, I gotta check that out.
Fucking sweet. Yeah, look for it.
Holy
it's
crap.
Pretty sweet. Yeah.
So what else is new to 2022 for you? Obviously, we have some injuries going into the regular season. We lost Avery for the season.
Yep. Patterson, I think, is working his way back.
Okay.
Cam Hart was out for the first couple sessions of practice, but he returned, so he's okay. I think it's just nagging hamstring. And then there was who's the other cat I just read about? Oh shit! Damn it, I forget.
It's crazy. I'm looking at the depth chart at quarterback. Ron Paulus III is fourth string as of right now.
Yeah, they got what is it?
The third? Is that his grandkid?
Ron Paulus III. No, maybe Ron Paulus, the quarterback, was a junior, and then so that would be
okay. That's possible too. Okay, I was like, there's no way Ron Paulus has a grandkid
because he would be Ron Paulus II.
Yeah, there you go. That sounds about right. Because I'm like, what the hell? But yeah, I mean, obviously we have some injuries. We got a week and a half until the season starts. Our next episode, like I said, I'm going to try to get on a special guest to kind of join us.
Awesome.
We're going to go through each game and do our predictions for the season. So that's your homework for this week.
We're predicting games next week.
We're going to predict all of the games going forward through the season next week.
Bowl game.
Well, we don't know if they're going to be in a bowl game. So, but if they go to a bowl, we'll say that or not.
ESPN projected them to make a New Year's Six bowl, which I would be happy with.
So, what is Notre Dame rank going into the season? 5?
5 in one, and I think 6 or 7 in another. I think 5 is very
too high,
generous.
or do you think that's right?
I think it's a little too high.
So do I.
The first-year coach, you got a brand new quarterback. Defense is strong. You know, we return it a lot. I'm so glad Bosky came back because I love that fucking kid. God, I love that kid. I think
offensive line strong again.
Yeah, they could be even better. And we got some good running backs. I mean, let Tyree go. And number 7, have you seen this man amongst boys?
No.
Audric Estime? Oh my God. I want that kid to touch the ball every time.
Audric Estime, sophomore.
He is a fucking specimen. It's amazing. This kid is he's like, he reminds me of the cats Notre Dame had in the 90s and stuff. Reggie Brooks, Tony Brooks.
So just like big, beefy,
just
bowling ball.
You know, one thing I want to see from this team, which I think we finally will. Julius Jones. I want to see him play with bad intentions. They were so soft under Kelly sometimes. I want to see him, in the words of Lou Holtz, get right in front of somebody and knock them the fuck out. Like, just for fucking 90 minutes.
You can't do that as much anymore like back in the day, though, because, you don't want to get caught for targeting. But, yes, I totally get what you're saying.
Well, I just
hit hard but wrap up. You don't want to.
When I say that, I mean, like, with a chip on your shoulder.
Oh, yeah. Like the Jalen Smith era, when he was hardcore, dude, he was hitting good. Same with Manti. I mean, even Kyle Hamilton last year had some hits. So
Kyle Hamilton did have some hits last year. Man, that sucks. God, I wish we could have seen him.
Yeah, him and Kyron Williams. Those are the 2 big off-season losses. Obviously, they graduated. You're going to lose guys from graduation every year, but those 2 on each side of the ball, holy shit! Kyron Williams is going to tear it up in the NFL, I think. Because he's just an all-around back. And then where did Hamilton go? Didn't he go to,
Baltimore.
Was it Baltimore? Okay.
I read a stat on him this morning. I guess he's taken 53 snaps in the offseason, in the preseason, I mean. And not one ball has been caught on him. Okay. I know it's preseason and whatever. They're not, but still.
Yeah, I don't really go too much off preseason anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's like anything else. But, and let's I was comparing the stats, but Notre Dame, awesome. This is great too. 4 preseason All-Americans. So, it was Alabama with 6, and then I think Ohio State with 5, and then Notre Dame and Georgia with 4.
Perfect.
And then, so we're there. We're getting there. But
we have the talent. We just have to bring it all together. Obviously, week 1 is going to be a little tough with Ohio State and Ohio State. We'll get into definitely talking about that game next week. We do kind of have to cut it short. I do only have a couple moments left here. So, cool. Dennis, episode 1.
Episode 1 of the books.
Fucking books of the new era of the We Are Education podcast. You can follow us on Fridays. The show will be on YouTube. You'll also be able to hear it. I think I'm going to put it on my radio station too. Why not?
Oh.
My radio station.
It's
I can
yours.
do what the fuck I want. So there you go. So we are ndnation.com. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Check out our YouTube channel as well. And next week, we are going to knock them dead with.
It'll be a good one next week.
Oh, my God, the predictions. And hopefully the special guest I get will be able to join us and go through the predictions with us, because I think that would be fucking awesome, too. And have a former player jumping on with us would be a lot of fun.
Might fangirl a little bit depending on who it is. I don't know.
Definitely got to go with some Irish swag next
I will next time. And I'll
white
make sure
T-shirt. I mean,
I haven't worked in a while, so I'll make sure I have a haircut.
Let's see that mustache. Are you going like fingers on us, man?
No, I just got to put a little milk on it and let the cat lick it off.
You got to do the little twist, because you're starting to look like Raleigh Fingers in his 40s, man. So
for the Oakland Athletics.
We're like, whoo-hoo,
Speaking of, how about them Braves?
I'm going Friday to St. Louis for the Braves and Cardinals. Fourth row.
Oh, nice, man. That's a beautiful stadium,
I will definitely talk to you about that later. And
hell yeah.
Dennis, love this. Let's
not
forget this year with this podcast. We're going to have a fucking blast, and we can swear and say whatever the hell we want to. We're not going to be cliche. We're not going to be PC. We're going at this hard. As hard as Notre Dame should be going at it. Every game on offense and defense. Yeah.
And one more thing. I don't know if that's it.
Go.
Fuck Michigan.
Oh, bring it. Fuck Michigan and Ohio State.
Yeah, I don't want to talk shit yet.
Until next week, again, Dennis Stover, Evan J. Thomas. We are ND Nation Podcast, Episode 1. We are done. We are out. Rock on and go Irish.
Go Irish.
Here come the Irish of Notre Dame.
We are ND Nation Podcast, a new era of Irish football with your host, me, Evan J. Thomas, and my new co-host, Dennis Stover, as we will bring you special guests throughout the season. We will go deep with your Irish football coverage in a way that you haven't seen or heard before. Dennis and Evan are just two best friends, lifelong Irish fans, bringing you the best Notre Dame football coverage, analysis, and our opinions on a weekly basis. You can watch or listen to the We Are ND Nation podcast on YouTube every Friday during the season on wearenddnation.com. Follow us on the socials. We are ND Nation. Go Irish.